Welcome to the wild Palm Beaches, and we're gonna get buzzed. This morning, we're in northern Palm Beach County, and I'm heading out to go and see my brother-in-law, Ben Patchen, who runs Gold Star Farms. And Gold Star Farms features one of my favorite creatures on the planet, a remarkable animal that is so surprising in its social habits, even its intelligence. And we're gonna go head out there and see what the buzz is all about. So this is where you've been hiding.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
This is it. How's it
Good
going?
to see you, brother.
So what are we going to be doing here this morning?
Check out some bees.
Awesome.
Ready?
Yep, I'm
Let's
ready.
get suited
Like this,
up.
right?
No, let's get suited up.
Look at them, they're going off, dude.
So here we're putting on a protective suit now. This is required in Florida. You'll see some beekeepers on social media and such without suits on. That's really probably not in Florida. Florida's wild, at least South Florida's wild populations tend to be Africanized. So it's very dangerous. 1,000 bee stings can kill you. And with 50,000 bees per box, we're gonna want you to be protected. All right, if you can feel a breeze on your lower back, it's exposed.
Okay.
All right. Smoker makes the bees think there's a forest fire, and so they gorge themselves.
What is that material that you're putting in there?
Pine needles.
It's just pine needles?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They think that when you smoke them, they think there's a forest fire, so they eat a bunch of honey for survival instinct.
I am a zombie.
Classic.
This is a special forklift for bees?
Yeah, it's got four-wheel drive. See how it articulates like this? And then it's got like a load shock right here.
Not the most comfortable.
No.
So is this the one we're checking first?
Yeah. What happened here is we had what's called a laying worker. And a laying worker is when the queen has died or left for some reason, and one of the workers attempts to keep the hive going by laying eggs. Well, her eggs aren't really viable. So what I did...
Wow, listen to that noise.
Oh yeah, and this is actually...
Wow. Sounds like an air conditioner.
Sure.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, and this is a smaller hive. What I'm gonna do, I'll separate these boxes. You hear it crack like that,
Yeah.
they're stuck together. It's called propolis.
Are they doing that to seal any gaps?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. I actually had some bees that were in a flood, and they had seen the water coming up, and they built a dam over their entrance of propolis.
Wow.
Just an amazing, amazing organism. Okay, so here we go.
Oh, wow.
So you can see that. That's honey here, the darker stuff. And then you see just to the, there, that's actually pollen. And then this is brood. And you can see the larva. If you look down inside, they're the middle ones, you can actually see the larva.
Yeah.
So what's happening is my laying worker is no longer in control of this hive. This queen is here. Otherwise we'd see very irregular brood. That's beautiful. That looks really good. Crazy thing about bees is they're like a little supercomputer too. So if there's one type of nectar a half a mile away, another type of nectar 2 miles away, they'll do the math on how rich and how much nectar there is on where they're going to pursue it. because certain nectars are sweeter than others.
Gotcha.
So they'll do that math.
Oh, you can see them all bringing in the pollen on their legs. That's amazing.
Yep.
And different color pollen sometimes. Sometimes it's bright yellow and other times it's like an orangey color. What's that from?
Correct. Different plants.
And during the course of its life, one honeybee can produce about a 1/4 ounce of honey?
No, a 1/12 of an ounce of honey.
A 1/12 of an ounce?
Yeah, and it's crazy because to make 1 ounce of honey is 60,000 trips.
To a flower?
Correct.
And back?
From the hive and back, correct.
Wow, 60,000 trips just for 1 ounce of honey?
Correct.
You think about that next time you put honey on your toast, just how much work has gone into that delectable morsel. It's incredible. You know, we always sometimes underestimate the smaller creatures in life. You know, it's all great to go and look at an elephant or a lion, and they're really charismatic creatures, but you know, when you start delving into the life of a honeybee, it's really fascinating just how social they are and how intelligent they are as well. It's even been said that honeybees can actually recognize individual human faces, which to me is just phenomenal. And it's really one of the finest examples in nature of collective intelligence, where you've got this entire hive functioning almost like a single organism. So if you look at the queen inside the hive, she could be like the brain, the lungs, and the heart of the organism. Then you've got the worker bees that are going out and getting the honey. They've also got stingers, so they're protecting the hive. And those are almost like our red blood corpuscles and our white blood corpuscles that are there for protecting the body and getting food and converting it into energy. And then you've got the drone bees in here, which are the reproductive function of the organism, because they're the only ones, their sole function is to then mate with the queen and she'll produce eggs for the next generation. So one of the most remarkable examples of collective intelligence, and bizarrely, a lot of similarities between honeybees and ourselves. So I've read somewhere, Ben, that South Florida is actually one of the better places to keep bees in North America. Can you tell us a little bit why?
Actually, yes, south of basically Orlando is the only place in the United States that honeybees can propagate through the winter. This queen, she lays 1,500 eggs a day. Based on the length of days, she'll quit laying at some point, but with a certain temperature, ample pollen and nectar sources, here in South Florida, unlike anywhere else in the United States, we keep breeding through the winter.
And it's always amazing to me just how connected everything is in our world. And when you think that 1/3 of all the food that we eat as humans is directly dependent on honeybees, it's just remarkable how interconnected it all is, right?
It's amazing.
Honeybees are what we call an indicator species because they tell us a lot about the health of the environment around us. So if you've got healthy populations of honeybees in a natural area, your environment is probably in pretty good shape. It's where we see the collapse of honeybee colonies in wild areas that we can look at that area and go, wow, something is drastically wrong here. There's no honeybees. So we use honeybees as an indicator of environmental health.
Here's a frame of honey. You'll see that they haven't capped it down here yet. They'll cap it when it gets to 17% humidity.
Wow, so they're very specific, huh?
Correct, and it'll never go bad. And this is drawn comb, that they'll finish drawing it out. And there's a little science between it. 1 frame of drawn comb is 10 pounds of sugar water.
Wow.
That's what we feed them, sugar water.
And what's that bee doing? Oh, that one was right in there. So what is he doing? Or she?
She was depositing some more nectar, looks like, because that one's not full.
Okay.
You want to taste it?
Yeah. Wow, that's really good.
Isn't it?
Now I've heard something about the color of the honey determines the quality. Like a really dark honey is not as good as a light honey, correct?
Generally speaking, there's some merit to that, but there are some darker honeys that are really, really good. But generally speaking, correct. The lighter honeys are more desirable. The darker honeys tend to be called table honey.
Okay. Oh, wow. Now they're going mental. Look at them. Wow.
So that's brood. And you can see this is a darker honey. And then here is some pollen.
Uh-huh.
And then if you look in there, you can see the larvae.
Oh, all the eggs, yeah.
Yeah. And then they'll cap them when they get to a certain level of development.
And are all these bees around the queen right now?
No, actually these bees are doing different jobs. Some of them are nurse bees, which are the younger bees. And some of these other bees, who knows what they're doing. Looks like they're working something on the bottom, maybe trying to draw a little comb off the bottom there. Time for breakfast. Bees need some pollen. Hey! Come on, stop!
Oh, this one's really busy.
Sure.
Sure.
Got some hungry bees. Got some holes drilled so when we invert it, drains out. It's basically sugar water.
Oh, so it just gets caught in that rim?
Correct.
And they feed from the rim of the bucket?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, and we have to feed them for a couple reasons. One of the reasons is we're trying to build them up, so we want to make sure they've got all the resources that they need to be stronger.
Right.
Another reason is to prevent them from robbing each other. What happens when there's not enough nectar and you've got a certain density of hives, they'll start to rob each other, which is obviously
counterproductive for your business.
Correct. We are fortunate enough to find a frame with a lighter honey and then a little darker honey like we're talking about earlier. So here, if you want to taste.
All right.
Yeah.
See which one's better.
Yeah.
Are we just digging it in there?
Yeah, just come over here where you know it's dark and just.
Oh, okay.
And you can get some comb, it's great.
Yeah. Get to sample the fruits of our labor now. That's really good.
And then,
this is instant energy.
Yeah, unlike sugar, which has to invert, honey is the only thing in nature that your body assimilates immediately.
Right.
And try this lighter stuff. Just dig in, get a nice chunk of it. Oh, even the comb is good.
Yeah.
So they're distinctly different.
Very different. I prefer the lighter one.
Do you prefer the lighter one?
I do. It's really good. Wow. Yeah, the darker one's got, I feel like, more of like a tang to it.
Okay.
The lighter one's more like subtle.
The darker one is probably more of like a saw palmetto. And this lighter is probably more of like Brazilian pepper.
Ah, it's good, man.
Which is invasive.
So we've enjoyed this relationship with honeybees for centuries and centuries. I mean, if you go back, I guess, 3 centuries before Christ, right? We were harvesting honeybees.
Migratory beekeeping has been practiced on the Nile since 3000 BC.
3000 BC?
Correct.
Wow. I have to bring the kids out here now.
They're gonna love it.
They love honey, right?
Oh, my kids
All
love
kids.
honey.
Stick with us. We'll be right back with the wild Palm Beaches. Mm.